Hey guys, it's Miss Loris. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're actually going to be finishing up the anxiety disorders chapter, so you can expect a test at some point next week. And today we're going to be capping this off with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. Most of you have probably heard of this disorder, but may not know the extent of it. So post-traumatic stress disorder is a condition in which a person who has experienced a traumatic event feels severe and long-lasting effects. So a traumatic event has to precede the onset of this disorder, but that sort of traumatic event can come in many different shapes and sizes depending on the person, depending on the situation. It is common among veterans of the military, especially combat veterans. You hear this a lot with soldiers and Marines and sailors coming back from combat. They do experience some post-traumatic stress, potentially. My grandfather was in World War II, 29th Infantry Division in the Army. He was in D-Day. He really saw a lot of his friends die right in front of him. He had a lot of survivor's guilt. And when he came home, he did have post-traumatic stress disorder. They used to call it shell shock, shell meaning like the bombs that were being dropped. So shell shock. He used to have nightmares. He used to scream in his sleep. He used to have some flashbacks and stuff like that. He did get over it eventually because back then in the 40s, it wasn't really being treated much. But now we have a whole range of treatments for post-traumatic stress disorder. Survivors of natural disasters such as floods or tornadoes can also get post-traumatic stress disorder, and victims of human aggression, so rape victims, assault victims, people who were almost murdered, and unnatural catastrophes such as plane crashes. So anything that's really big, child sex abuse, things like that. So studies have shown that survivors of Nazi concentration camps in Europe, Germany, Poland, Austria, and soldiers returning from war may display symptoms decades after the traumatic event. So time really does not matter when dealing with PTSD. So here are a few of the criteria that you must meet in order to be diagnosed properly with PTSD, according to the DSM. So the first thing that these sufferers probably have is frequent re-experiencing of the event through intrusive thoughts, flashbacks, and repeated nightmares and dreams. So you are not only experiencing it the first time, which causes the PTSD, but you're constantly re-experiencing it. You're constantly unwillingly subjected to living through it again. Also, persistent avoidance of stimuli associated with the trauma and the general numbing or deadening of emotions. So these people, they avoid things that remind them of the traumatic event or things that they know will trigger a flashback or an intrusive thought. This does happen with a lot of veterans who are out and about on the 4th of July with the fireworks that has been known to trigger flashbacks because it sounds like gunshots or bombs. Number 3, increased physiological arousal resulting in exaggerated startle responses or difficulty sleeping. So another recurring theme in these anxiety disorders is that it not only affects you mentally, but it affects you physically. You have physical reactions to these stressors. So your heart rate goes up, your heart is beating really fast, your pulse, you may sweat, you may have tremors or shake, you could have headaches or nausea and difficulty sleeping, being unable to sleep or insomnia. Okay, so that is it. So I'm going to post another video maybe just talking about PTSD, and you guys are going to do a couple questions about PTSD, but otherwise we are completely finished with the anxiety disorders chapter. I hope this was interesting. I hope you were able to, keep along with what we were talking about. I know it's very difficult right now, but if you guys have any questions at all, you know where to find me. Also, I'm available for online office hours. If you desire that, you let me know and we will make a time to meet. So next week, you will likely have a review in the form of a Kahoot or something, and then you will be having your test. The test, like I said yesterday or the day before, is not going to be very long. It's going to be kind of a short test, and then we're going to go into the other psychological disorders. Okay? So I hope you have a good day. Again, let me know if you need any help with anything, and I will see you next time.